What's up, YouTube? This is True Raw for TV. All right. So, in this video, I want to talk about this list that Jeannie Buss put out as far as the top five most important Lakers. Okay. And trying to go by memory on this thing here, but I believe Jeannie Buss's list included Kobe Bryant, Phil Jackson, uh, LeBron James, uh, Magic Johnson, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I had to think about it for a little bit. Now, this has nothing to do with my feelings about LeBron James, but um, I have a issue with this list because as great a player as LeBron James is, and he did deliver a championship to the Lakers franchise. However, I don't think he's done enough as a Laker to be on a top five most important. Remember, this isn't the greatest as far as skills or whatever or accomplishments. It's important. And if that's the argument, then I don't understand. I know a lot of people saying Shaq. Okay, Shaq deserves some merit here, but the two guys who should be on this list when you talk about most important, you got to make room for Jerry West and Elgin Baylor. Okay, now I don't want to hear anything in this comment section about they only won one championship. I don't give a fuck about any of that. Okay, it's most important. If it wasn't for the signing of Elgin Baylor, there would be there wouldn't be a Lakers franchise. Okay, Elgin Baylor single-handedly saved the franchise from folding. Now, the Lakers ended up having to leave Minneapolis anyway and go to LA, but he saved that franchise from folding. After the George Mikan era, when they won five championships, the Lakers fell on hard times in Minneapolis. They had terrible teams. Outside of Kobe Bryant's roster in 2005, 2006, well, actually, including that roster, I think the worst Lakers roster was the one before Elgin Baylor joined the team. They were horrible, horrible, and they were on the verge of folding. Elgin Baylor signed, I believe, it was a $20,000 contract. Had he not signed, the Lakers probably would have folded within 2 years. Okay, most likely they would have folded within 2 years. So Elgin Baylor definitely belongs on this list. Another guy that belongs on this list is Jerry West. Not only as a player, until Kobe Bryant surpassed him, he was the all-time leading scorer for the Lakers, 25,192 points. He was the greatest shooting guard in NBA history for at least 25 years, or at least, about 25 years, maybe 30 years, depending on who you ask. And he was a phenomenal player, okay? And in my opinion, he's still a top three all-time shooting guard, with all due respect to Dwayne Wade, okay? But what cements Jerry West to be on this list is what he accomplished as a general manager. Now, after his playing career, he had a brief stint as a coach, and he wasn't that successful as a head coach. But it was Jerry West ceding coaching duties to Pat Riley that made Pat Riley possible because they were going to rehire Jerry West as a coach, but Jerry West saw potential in Pat Riley, a former player himself for the Lakers, not a great player, but a scrappy guy, and he made Pat Riley possible as a coach and later on as a GM and president of basketball operations now, I believe, with the Miami Heat. And you see how successful he's been with that franchise. Then you look at the fact that um, as a GM with the Lakers, not only did he commit the masterstroke of signing Shaquille O'Neal, somehow the Orlando Magic fucked that shit up completely. Okay, they had Shaq re-signed, but Jerry West was um, very persuasive for Shaq to sign with the Lakers. And not only that, he was the one who had the draft day trade or committed the draft day trade that was very unpopular at the time, Vlade Divac for Kobe Bryant. I remember at the time, Lakers fans were like, "What are you doing?" Thank Jerry West for that trade. Okay, so in my opinion, LeBron shouldn't be on this list as of yet. He hasn't done enough as a Laker to be on this list. And I think Elgin Baylor should be on this list. And Phil Jackson has a case, but I would put Jerry West in front of Phil Jackson. Everybody else, I have no problems with. Magic, Kobe, and Kareem. I have no problem with them being on the most important Lakers list. This is the thing. I know for PR reasons she had LeBron James on the list. Okay, um, it's for certain reasons. He's the face of the franchise right now. I get it. And she used to date Phil Jackson. Okay, and I'm pretty sure they still have a great relationship. So this list is biased. I mean, it is. I'm just saying, you know. But I don't think that LeBron should be on this list yet. And I don't know about Phil Jackson. I mean, he has a case though. He definitely has a case. 5 championships as the head coach. But then again, you know, Pat Riley won 5 NBA titles as the head coach with the Showtime Lakers. Well, not 5, excuse me. He won 4. He wasn't a coach in 1980 when they won the championship that year. And John Conlon won 5 championships as the head coach of the Mikan Lakers. John Conlon died, I think, 4 years ago at the age of 101. So if you're going by that, then maybe you could put other guys in there. So um, that's just my opinion. And this has nothing to do with LeBron hate. Like I told you guys, I'm staying away from that shit. But in this situation, I don't think LeBron James has done enough as a Laker to be on the most important Lakers list. But tell me what you guys think.